So does it matter which of these I try to I hope there's a battery in this guitar. I brought it. Okay, so at least pick it up. Music to my ears. New strings. Never been played. Yeah, just put on and I left the guitar for a day or two. So. And as this say, okay, everything's. A few minutes ago, I kind of decided it was just too hot that I'm not even going to play. I'm just going to come up here and give you guys all the announcements. But you all probably want your money back. I know. So I'll slog through a few things. But obviously, the first big exciting news is we're here at IBC. And it seems like kind of a miracle, you know? That, yeah. Oh, all right, you're out on the balcony? Oh man, Sticky Fingers. Should I play a Rolling Stones song?
Oh, I can't sing.
Well, anyway, so first of all, everybody, welcome back. I mean, this is so cool being back at the Green Mountain Retreat now. I think it was really the best place of the three we've been. I think everybody probably would agree that being, and again, the convenience of being so close to my house, where my wife and you'll see, I think my daughter Elizabeth, did she leave?
No, she's out for
Oh, she's still working on name tags. Okay, very good. And my other daughter Rebecca will be here in a while too, so they're going to be hanging out for a couple of days. We're pretty excited about that. I don't know if I should start with a whole bunch of announcements or answer any questions, or do you guys want to hear a song?
Yeah.
Play a song? Yeah. Okay. So the other day on the TG News, I just sort of randomly went into, I tell people all the time that it's really good to have songs you could sort of play if you're not really out warmed up or not on top of your game. And you know, there are many songs that I've played for like 40 or 50 years. And then I ran through a couple of them, Fisherman and Windy and Warm and something else, Last Steam Engine Train, just on the news the other day. And none of them sounded like they did like 50 years ago either. They've all just sort of taken on lives of their own. So it turned into a little medley of, you know, started off with something like this. Wow, come on, get the fingers moving. Yeah, one of my students was playing that a couple weeks ago, and I thought, oh man, it's such a cool tune. And I used to play it all the time, and it was fun to resurrect it. So, any requests now? No? Everybody says, what do you know? Should I try my other hard train song?
Yeah.
It's a little early, but let's see what happens. You know, you got to be just fearless when you're on stage, and you know, you got to realize too that you're among friends, and everybody's going to try. Let's hope that doesn't kill the string. This is one that I've messed around with for quite a few years, and I guess there are a couple songs I've played lately that I try to fade in and fade out. So let me start that again, because it's already going too loud, and you didn't realize it even started, right? So let's see if we can fake the fade in. Now if I can remember the melody. I'm sure some of you know that. That's a tune by Pat Metheny called Last Train Home. It was, of course, like a lot of Pat Metheny songs, it was done with the whole band and orchestra and you know, stuff. And drums can keep the train going, so that's kind of the goal in a tune like that, is keep the rhythm going so it sounds like a train the whole time. Keep meaning to do a lesson on it, but it's really hard to put that down in writing and even explain it in video. So, but yes, a fun song to play. So, okay, maybe a couple announcements, then maybe we'll play a few more tunes. As all of you know now, we're a lot more organized this year with the sign-up sheet and everything else, and everybody has probably a good plan of what's going on. And this time I'm going to be doing a couple of classes. I'll be doing the morning classes, the 9 o'clock classes both days, and Jim will be doing them at the 10:30 classes. And especially for the new people, I'd like to welcome, we've got 7 or 8 new people here, so it's really, really great that you know, some of you joined the fold here, because a lot of these people have been to many camps, and I think everybody's going to feel part of the family pretty quick. So, so kind of the schedule then is we'll have these 2 classes in the morning. I'm going to do the first one on blues, and the reason I kind of decided to do that was over the last 6 months I've had quite a few students just say, I don't quite get this whole 12-bar blues thing. Is it, you know, how exactly does it work, and how can I play a lead over it, and some of these things like that. So I thought that would be a good foundation, fundamental kind of thing, because part of what we try to do here is have you sit down and play with other people, and sometimes it might be, well, let's find a song that everybody knows, or that both of us know, you know, and if that never doesn't happen, you can all of a sudden, you know, you could come up with something like this. Yes, I'm going to. So that was a 12-bar blues, and I'm sure many of you recognize it, but there are lots of different variations that people do on it. And so, anyhow, that's the first class I'm going to do. The second one is going to be on ear training, because people have a hard time hearing chord changes, and that's why I suggested I wanted to listen to some of the tunes on Bringing It All Back Home and see. Some of it was to look for 12-bar structure, but some of it was also just to see if you can hear, first of all, when chords change, or can you hear that it's a minor chord or a major chord, or, oh, was that chord even in the key? Probably not, if you thought that, you know. So that's the other thing I want to work on. And then Thursday we'll leave a little bit up in the air. We'll kind of see how those 2 things go. I'll have Jim will talk a little bit more about his classes later. Thursday we are going to do one with Doug and Jim and Dave, kind of on recording and miking techniques and things like that, because a lot of people have asked about that too. So that's kind of the mornings over the next couple days. The lunches, the schedule's real strict here on, you know, breakfast at 8, lunch at 12, dinner at 6, and then we'll usually get the evening thing going by 7:30 or so. We could sometimes start earlier, as you can see tonight. We could have kind of got in here, but we did need to do some technical work. The campfire class, in case some of you don't know what that is, that's basically, it'll be in here, we'll have a song up or words and chords up on a screen, and it'll really just be like strum through the song, and a few people have sort of volunteered to kind of lead a song and teach one to everybody. So that's the 1 o'clock time slot every day. We'll at least do it the first 2 days. The last couple of years, a lot of times by Thursday, people are feeling like, I'm running out of practice time for what I want to do Thursday night. So try to leave Thursday a little bit more open, because then I'll go into the open mics, I guess, because the first 2 nights, Tuesday and Wednesday, we want anybody that wants to get up and play a song. And if it's not enough people, I mean, if it's not a lot of people, you could do 2. Let's say we want that to be over by about 9:30 or so. So we got like about a 2-hour window for that. And part of it is because over the years, something that materialized kind of organically almost every night was a little jam session and sometimes first time here it went till about 4 o'clock. So I think we're too old for that now. Yeah, but and a few people, well, one in particular ended up sleeping in the hall. I found him at 6:30 when I got up, and he was complaining that somebody had put alcohol in the bourbon. You learn something new every day. So anyway, I think we're kind of a little mellower nowadays, or older. Yeah. So, but we'll still, Dave will kind of like be around like from 9:30 to maybe 10:30 or so, see how it goes, and do a little bit more jamming kinds of things where, you know, maybe working on playing leads over a few tunes or playing more complicated songs than we might in the campfire class. The campfire class is kind of designed to be fairly approachable songs for people of every level. You know, there will be bar chords involved, but there, you know, that shouldn't be a
Bar, somebody said bar.
Yeah. So you're still thinking about the bourbon thing, huh? Mini sets, I see we've got 7 or 8 people signed up for mini sets, which are really cool. We started doing that a few years ago. And that'll usually be at 4:30, from about 4:30 to 5:30 or so, maybe even 4 o'clock, depending on, I think I put it down at 4 o'clock, depending on who wants to do that. The idea there is you get, you know, 15 minutes or so to play 3 or 4 songs rather than just the one song you can do in the evening, because a lot of people sort of graduated to the point where they've got a lot of songs. And playing just one song, well, like you can see right there, my second song came out way better than my first song. You know. And anyway, so that's the mini set idea. We won't do that on the first day, which is tomorrow, Tuesday, because I kind of got a couple of requests about extending the performance workshop. Now the performance workshop, and you've probably all seen this in emails from me too, but the performance workshop is really, really cool. And Dave started this the first year he joined us. Oh, so now how this materialized, Dave joined us our second year, and we had an open mic like the first night, and as he saw everybody play something, he said, hey, you know what? We should have kind of a master class kind of idea here where somebody plays something and then the teachers give them suggestions on how that performance or stage, you know, how your stage personality could have, or, anyway, how it could have gone better. And that was, we were doing that down in at the Quaker Center. And you know, 6 or 7 people got up, played something. Dave got up and, you know, got in their face about a few things, and I gave them a few suggestions, and then would have them play like another verse or another chorus with some of that stuff in mind. And the coolest thing about this was we were pretty much done, and one of the guys said, wait, let me get up there and let me play something. This was Bear, right? So Bear gets up, and he was a fairly shy guy. Nickname sort of came from, he's bigger than me, and so, you know, yeah, I'm only a cub. But so Big Bear got up and immediately did like 6 different things that Dave had suggested to other people, and it's like he was shilling for us. You know, it's like so he sat there and just did this, and it was fabulous. And it was little things like talk to the audience, don't just get up there and start playing. You know, encourage them to sing along. I mean, it was. And he picked a really easy song. That's another thing. Pick an easy song. He got up, I think he played, he had white horses and ladies by the score. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's what he played.
That's what he played.
Was
I
it?
remember. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of like some of the simplest songs I would ever give anybody, and Lucky Man is right there. So anyway, so the performance workshop has really turned into a big thing, and so we're going to do that tomorrow afternoon at 3:30. And we try to keep every person to like 15 minutes, but I think we've got 8 or 9 already signed up for it. So we'll try to get to everybody, and if anybody decides they want to wait and see if there's more time, that'd be fine too. But Dave is mostly also going to be leading songwriting. I hate to call it a songwriting class because it's more
Workshop.
It's a workshop where he's, you know, he'll be working with people sort of individually or possibly in groups. Like, hey, the 2 of you go work on a song and something like that maybe, or you could pick somebody to try to work on a song with. Obviously, you know, Kathy's written a lot of songs. We've got a lot of songwriters here that have come a long way. Wiley is out there somewhere, you know, who could barely play the guitar when he first came, and, you know, now he's writing up a storm. Victor, it's time for you to write more songs. Yeah. So, or any songs. So that'll start tomorrow afternoon at 2, like after the campfire class. But it won't be, we want to get the performance workshop going by 3:30. So it might be a little shorter, but the next 2 days, like the next day you'll have like 2 hours, and even Thursday if you want. So it'll still be at 2 o'clock though every afternoon. And the other thing going on in the afternoon is private lessons that most of you have signed up with either me or Doug or Jim. And I'll make sure, in the morning I'll have a board up here so you remember when yours is, because somebody may not be able to get to the spreadsheet up here and things like that and see where it is. But I think, yeah, I went to 20-minute times, and it's really important that you show up like at your time, because I tend to like ramble on sometimes. And so if whoever's supposed to be there next is not there, I won't know that it's time to get to them. So, you know, you gotta help me out with that. I think Jim and Doug have got like half-hour slots, so you have a little bit more time. And so that's going on kind of like during the songwriting time, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't, anyway. We'll find times.
Where will the lessons be, Neil?
Jim's will be over there. Either yours or mine will be in here, and the other one of us will be, I think, in the dining room. I think it'll be too hot for us to be outside. You know, that was my original plan, is we could kind of be outside. Speaking of outside, the pool is nice and cold. I was already in it today. And this is just sweat, though. This is not left over from the pool. But yeah, it's like 72 degrees. So if you're sweating up a storm, get in the water. It will help. There's also this nature trail that I've talked about a little bit in some of the emails. And so it's about a mile. You know, you could get up in the morning and probably walk it in 30 or 40 minutes. I don't think it's that long. I'm gonna probably bike it tomorrow morning and see how long it really is. But that can start out past St. Martha's. So does everybody know where St. Martha's is compared to where the rest of them are? It's closer to the parking lot.
Okay.
And you would head downhill, and it's a very sterile looking building that, you know, looks like a dorm. Doesn't look like any of the cool cottages, which are the Julia Morgan things that are here. Yeah. Yes, they are. Yeah. And anyway, it comes back up by another cottage here. So if they tell me it's best to go that way, because I did walk a little bit with Junior, our kind of our host here, the other day, and it's steep downhill right here at the beginning, which means if you're coming the other way around, it's a steep uphill. So it seems like it's best to go clockwise around it. Okay, there's some other stuff I didn't talk about yet. What was it? Time slots, anything? Let's see, we talked about lessons. I don't know, any questions at this point about anything going on?
We've got your daughter doing this session.
Oh yeah, thanks. Plug Rebecca. So yeah, my daughter Rebecca is a chiropractor, and she really is not going to be doing chiropractic work here. That kind of requires more than she can do in like 15 minutes with a person. I think we scheduled her in 20-minute slots too. But it would mostly just be like massage therapy. You know, if your wrists or shoulders are bothering you particularly because of playing guitar. She worked on me the other day, and you know, she's found, wow, you have problems with your wrists. Do all guitar players have this? It's a good chance. You know. She hurt me a lot. Oh. But I do feel better now. So anyway, and we'll set her up. I'm not sure where. We have a little tent that we'll put up, and I think a lot of people have already signed up for times with her. And the catch is she can only do this for cash for $40, or you could Venmo or PayPal me for it too, and then I'll get it to her. Just she has to sort of keep it. Oh, I should have stopped the video before I went into the under the table issues, but I can edit it, or Larry can edit it. We're missing a lot of people here, obviously, this year. You know, the biggest is Larry, who has been our video guy since day one. And Larry has been a student of mine for 20 or 25 years. And as he retired, we were looking for somebody to kind of get into video with Totally Guitars and like go around and talk to people in music stores and things like that. And he kind of volunteered to do it. He says, oh, you know, I'd like to get into it. He needed like another hobby. And he eventually took all kinds of movie making classes and theater classes at Tianza and video stuff, and you know, studied old movies and things. It just became his life, and he put it all together. I'm sure many of you, probably all of you, have seen some of our videos from previous years, and that's all thanks to Larry. And he just this year the fear of the Delta variant got too much to his wife, and it was kind of like a no decision. He's really bummed. So, but Larry, when you watch this, we miss you. And we had 6 or 7 other people that pretty much had to cancel for all different reasons. And many of you have been in touch with Jeff, or Ted, or Bart, or Carol, Dennis. I just forgot one. Who else? Dan, yeah. And then, so that there were these 6 that pretty much had to cancel over the last few, and really it was 6 different reasons. You know, one's taking care of his aging mother-in-law, and Ted's recovering from a severely broken leg. Jeff is having, just had a hip replacement a week ago, and so can't get through an airport. So it's all kinds of fluky things. And unfortunately, many of you know Mike Jelinas, who was scheduled to be here, and he was supposed to fly in yesterday, and he has come down with COVID. So he's vaccinated, but he did say there were people at his house, relatives, that were staying for the weekend, and they tested positive, and he's now, got sniffles and a headache and can't breathe, and so I hadn't got the word, but he said, I'm 100% sure I'm positive. It was just no way. So he had to cancel at the last minute too. So anyway, we miss all those people, and they're really, especially as you newer people find out, this just really feels like it's a family reunion every time we get together. And so, okay, let's see. Anything else? Is it still in tune? What's that? The pool was really good. Oh, you weren't there? Uh-oh.
I didn't do it.
Did somebody lean on a...
I didn't touch it.
I hope that's all.
Maybe it's electricity is out.
No, everything is still on up here.
Oh,
Looks like we're getting close.
Maybe a lot there.
Was that Lynn?
I didn't touch it, I swear to God. I didn't lean.
Goes to the machine. You didn't vibrate.
I'm always in sure.
Yeah. Oh, this guitar, I have two really nice guitars. The first one was, I didn't bring the first one here, three I guess really, but the first one, 40 years ago, I had Santa Cruz Guitar Company build me a guitar. And for like 30 years, that was, no, I guess 20 years. It was just the main guitar I had, and I loved it and stuff. And about in the late 90s, 96 or 97, we opened up a music store in Los Gatos called the Los Gatos Guitar Gallery, and we were carrying guitars by small makers who could only make a few guitars a year. They couldn't put them in stores really, but so I got to know a lot of builders around. And this guy's name is Ed Claxton, and he's still lives in Santa Cruz. He's not related to the Santa Cruz Guitar Company at all, but they're good friends. And yeah, so we were selling his guitars in the store. We get a couple a year, and he called me one time and said, "Hey, I got a guitar ready for you." And I went over to pick it up on a Friday afternoon, and it was raining. And I thought, I'm not going to drop it off at the store. I'll take it home. And yeah, it was sort of a fateful decision. And so I thought, oh, well, I'm gonna check this guitar out while it's here. And so I take it out. I'm sitting on the piano bench playing it, and his guitars were quite expensive then. I'm sure they were over like $5,000 or something, and this was 20 years ago. And I was playing it, and I was thinking, wow, this is like the best guitar I've ever played. And I was like taken by surprise. I'm sure many of you have heard this story, but and I have three students waiting for one. Actually, one of them is here in this room right now, who was like waiting for one of our Claxtons. And no, it's you, Ed. Yeah.
I have one.
You didn't then. You were in line for one.
Well, I want another one.
Yeah. You won't get it for $5,000 this time. Yeah. But and so I'm playing this guitar, and I'm thinking, God, I've got these three guys that wanted this guitar. Ed was one. One was the guy Sandy got hers from, Jay. So he was another one that was like on this line, and I can't remember who the third was right now. But anyway, and so this is running through my head, or as this is running through my head, I'm thinking, well, who am I going to even let buy this guitar? Because the first one I tell that this is the best guitar I've ever played will just say, I'll take it. They won't even play it. I don't want to get egotistical about it, but they trust me, right? And so as this is going through my head, and I'm thinking, I'm not sure how I'm going to pick. Nani walks in and gets home from work and sees me playing the first guitar she's ever seen me play that wasn't my Santa Cruz guitar. And she says, whose guitar is that? And I pause for a second because I'm really not sure what I'm going to say. And then it became clear. I'm not sure. And so she, kind of gathers her thoughts and sits down and says, I think it's time you had a new guitar. Aww. There she is, Nani Hogan. My favorite wife. And least favorite. So don't let it go to your head. Anyway, so Ed is a really great builder in Santa Cruz.
So what do his guitars go for now?
I think they start at 15. And then if you want like a cutaway or rose,
They hit 20 real fast.
they hit 20 real fast.
I think he's actually not taking orders anymore.
Yeah, he's trying to retire and he's trying to make only, Doug has a couple of his guitars, I think, right? Yeah. If you want to talk guitar collections, you gotta ask Doug to bring his, he's got guitars by all kinds of really great builders. So, but yeah, Ed's basically trying to retire. I think when I got mine from him, he was making about 12 a year, and now I think he's trying to do 4 or 5, and take life easy. But he's a great guy. So, anyway, sorry for that long story. Ed Claxton would have been the easy answer. Okay, any requests now? Oh, Quicksand? Oh yeah, I might be able to get through that. Yeah, that's how it starts, huh? That's called Quicksand. Yeah, by me. Yeah, I started making, I made a few albums. I think I made 6 CDs over the years and started in the late 80s. My first one was, I'm trying to make this a really short story, but basically I got hired by a Macy's to play instrumental music 12 days before Christmas for 5 hours a day. So I was walking around a Macy's in Sunnyvale doing things like, well, I had a fake book that had a bunch of Christmas tunes in it. And so I just kept like flipping through it and whipping out arrangements off the top of my head. By the third day, I probably had 50 of them that I could get through, because it was 5 hours a day I was playing these tunes. You know, so I did stuff like... Anyhow, so I thought, wow, I have all these songs in pretty good shape, I should maybe make an album of them. And so my first album was a Christmas album, and it actually sold quite well in more like in gift stores and card store, Hallmark stores and things like that. You know, it didn't really get too much in the mainstream. But then I thought, wow, what am I going to do as a follow-up? Because nobody's heard of me. And but the Christmas album did okay because people bought Christmas albums and they walk into a store and be playing. And so I thought, well, let's do Beatles tunes. So I put together arrangements of like. And put out an album of those, and actually those did pretty well. Some of those even ended up in places like Tower Records and things like that. They got a little bit outside of the thing, and so I did those in like '88 and '89, I think, or something. And and then I stopped playing guitar because at that point we were like about to have our second child, and it's like life was over as far as playing guitar goes. And that was Rebecca. We have a son that's older named Corey, who can't make it to camp this year. He and his wife have moved to Portland, but it's been really nice. You know, everybody that's been here before knows that my family is always likes to come by and has no problem getting up and playing songs. So anyhow, so then I did a third album, and I think on the Christmas album I had one original piece, and then I put out one a couple years later of American standards like. And you know, Chattanooga Choo Choo, Over the Rainbow, When You Wish Upon a Star, the American songbook, kind of. And threw in a few more originals. And then I really sort of retired. That was like 1992. Until a fluky thing happened, and I had a chance to meet my biggest musical idol in my whole life, John Renbourn. And you know, some of you might, well, a lot of you know this story anyway, but he was just a phenomenal English guitar player that was in the early days of fancy fingerpicking in the early 60s, Davy Graham, Bert Jansch, and people like that. And he ended up doing a workshop for my students at the store, and eventually, not even eventually, that night, I played a few tunes for him, and he asked me to, he started asking me if I played at some of his shows and things like that. So we became really good friends. This was like, you know, something you can't even dream of is, you know, your biggest musical idol and mentor kind of starts treating you like a peer, and that was, so in kind of in the interest of playing with Renbourn, I thought, you know, I'm gonna start writing some new songs again. And so I ended up making 3 albums of original pieces over about the next 5 years. And that one was on the second one. Was that on Cowell Creek? Must have been. I can't remember. So the first one was just called, and for the first one actually, I had pieces that were 15 years old that I'd written back in 1985. And so I think I'd only written 4 new ones, and then dug up a bunch of old ones that as I started looking through them and playing them again, because I had them all written out. I don't think I had any of them recorded. But I remember thinking, God, actually some of these are kind of cool. There was Rico's Best Shot. There it is. Anyway. So yeah, that's where Quicksand came from this kind of prolific period of about 5 years, and I put out 3 albums of all original stuff, some of which are still available in some places, I think. Maybe here. Maybe at Dave's store, I think I've got I should have brought some. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so I have written a lot of pieces, and most of them are flashy finger-picking pieces, like that, you know. I have some that are not, that are just normal ballads. It's half of one, called Papa's Guitar, that we better stay away from for now. But it's two-tiered. But I'll tell you that story another day. It actually has a lot to do with meeting John Renthorn too. Okay, I probably rambled on too long. Like I said, if you're late for your lesson, the person before you is going to get your lesson. So, but I'd be happy to play more tunes. You know, maybe each night I'll play a tune or two, because I you know, when I'm with students, a lot of times I walk in and I'm working on something. I was like, what was that, or something, you know, because they don't necessarily know the song. But I usually feel guilty, like if they say, hey, well, you know, show me what you've been working on. It's kind of like, well, we're here to make you a better guitar player, you know. I'm getting over that every once in a while, because I think sometimes it's fairly inspirational to see what other people do on a guitar and stuff. Or if I tell them, you know, I'm playing this song that's just so damn hard, I think I'm gonna forget about it. You know? I've got the Athena one I've been working on for 23 years. Still can't do it. Anyway, we'll save that for another day too. Okay, any other questions about camp or anything going on? And then we'll pass the microphone on to Doug here, let him talk a little bit about what he's going to be doing. And then David and Jim will get up and run through some of their shtick too. So everybody's got the plan of what to be doing here and stuff? Okay. All right. Doug Young, you're up.
I hadn't heard Quicksand in a long time. It was very nice, Neil.
What's that?
Quicksand was really nice.
Oh,
I hadn't heard
nice.
it in a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
Just when you're your own sound man.
Okay.
Technology. Dave and I both have this set up on our app so we can do dueling. I can be turning myself up, he can turn me back down. They don't want to loud. I'm Doug Young. For those of you who don't know me, most of you have known me for many years here, but we've got some new faces I don't know, so I'm looking forward to meeting you and getting to know some of you. I'll play a tune here and then we'll talk about what I'll be doing this week. This is kind of like Neil talked about playing songs that you've been playing for a long time, and this is one I think I've been playing since I was a teenager or something. But just this past week, I started working on it with another guy that we're going to try to do a duet, and realized, of course, I was playing it all wrong. Just by Neil. It's like, oh, I listened to it, and I went, oh, that's how it goes. Anyway, so I don't know what this will be. C. I think that Dwayne played it in open E, which requires you really crank the strings up, but I'm playing it open D with a capo, so most people that I know play it that way because they don't want to break their strings. So my thing, for those of you who don't know me, is I do fingerstyle instrumental guitar. I'm not much of a singer, and I actually do play in standard tuning, but not that much. Not when I can help it, let's put it that way. There's just so much interesting sounds to get out of alternate tunings that I've been exploring those for a long time. Although I would have to play quite a few more years probably to make up for all the years that I spent just playing in standard tuning and even playing electric guitar. So now I'm in a tuning called Dadcat. Let's see, what am I going to do here this session? I'm going to be in and out this week. In past years I've been here full time, but I've got a couple other things going on, so I'm just going to be kind of ducking in and out. But I will be here for lessons, especially in the afternoon. We've got a bunch of you signed up already. I just noticed that my first lesson tomorrow at 1 is Mike Galenas, who will not be here, so there's an open slot there. So if anybody would still like to spend some time with me, I think I've got an open slot at 1 and one at 1:30, and then the rest of you are signed up. I currently don't have anybody signed up on Thursday, and I can be around. So if people, more people want to spend some time with me, you're welcome to come or even repeat. I don't care. If we can't figure out what to do in one session, I'm happy to come down for another one. Let's see, what else? I crashed Dave's store. There's a couple CDs and books out there. I have no jewelry though, or T-shirts. But I do have a couple books and CDs and things out there. Many of you already have them, but some of you. I think I might have cracked out a new book. Oh, actually, a book and 2 new CDs since the last time I was here. There's a CD that I did with Ted Gherkin as a series of duets. It was a lot of fun. So the whole thing is 2 guitars, and that was a lot of fun. We're usually playing in 2 different alternate tunings, just because we don't like things to be easy or sensible. And usually we're playing different types of guitars. So like I might be playing I've got a little baby 12-string that's very short scale and almost sounds like a mandolin, and he plays a baritone a lot. So we kind of mix up the instruments quite a bit on that. That's fun. And then I did a Christmas CD last year that was kind of my COVID. I thought it was going to be the COVID year. Turns out it was just the warm-up, right? But during 2020, I cranked out a Christmas CD, and I roped in lots of friends who play violin and cello and flute and a bunch of things. So it's solo guitar, but I didn't feel restrained to be just solo guitar. I actually played quite a few guitars on the track in different places, and also had these other people add instruments. They made me sound much better, so it was a lot of fun. Anyway, let me play another tune or so for you, and then and if there's anything I can help anybody out with all week, just let me know. Like I say, I'm going to be in and out, but I will be around. Catch me and sign up for one of my slots, or just catch me anytime. And happy to talk about stuff. Guitars, yes, I have a couple Claxtons. Funny, the reason I don't think Ed's building anymore, somebody just contacted me just a few days ago saying, I'm really looking for a Claxton. What builder could you recommend that's as good as Claxton? And I went, I don't know the answer to that. And I said, why don't you get a Claxton? Talk to Ed. And he said, I did, and he won't take my order. So he said he was just doing what he wants to do. So, and builders do get to that point, They're like tired of building the same guitar over and over, and they want to do whatever cool project comes to mind. But anyway, so those of you out there's several of you that have Ed's guitars besides Neil. Terrific guitars, really wonderful. This guitar is called a Keras. It's made by a luthier named Bill Wise. I think he's in Minnesota, and it's a nice guitar too. He's good friends with Jim Olson, who's a very famous builder, and Jim kind of let him copy his design, so it's very much like an Olson clone, except that Olson started about $25,000, and I got this one for $3. So and just recently, so they're still relative. He does build some. If he makes them fancier with fancier wood, they cost more. but this one was relatively inexpensive, and I got it as a guitar I could, gig with without worrying about a $20,000 guitar on places, because things do happen to them. My favorite issue playing with somebody, and as far as guitar, is not getting broken. But I played at a place that had kind of a green room in the back, and you put your stuff in the back and all that, and I had my guitars back there. I went and grabbed a drink or something, and I came back to get ready to play, and as I approached the green room, here comes a guy walking out of the green room with my guitar in his hand. And funny, he looked a little strange. I went, there's something not right with this guy. So I just went up to him and said, "Oh, thanks for bringing my guitar out for me," and he just handed it to me. So it was, it could have been much worse. So you don't take your best guitars out to places all that often. So anyway, let me play one. I'll play a Beatle tune for you. I think I did a lesson on this. This was somebody suggested this. I did a lot of workshops during COVID, and somebody said you should arrange this song, and I don't remember who it was. So I did it. I think there's a lesson on TG. This is a more obscure, or at least lesser known Beatles song. Not that obscure. It's called For No One.
Yeah, it must be motion.
It must be, yeah.
Some kind of motion. I think at the top left. Is it the top left?
You have remote powers.
Must be a timer. We should time it.
You must have a timer.
It's 8:30. We'll see how long it goes.
Okay, it's 8:30 and yeah.
Anyway, please let me know what I can help you with, and I'm happy to help you out with anything, even though I play mostly fingerstyle, alternate tuning. I'm happy to work with you on anything I can possibly help with. Maybe we'll do one more song and get Neil to help me.
Sure.
He needs a guitar. So that was a dad tuning, by the way. I think I mentioned that. Still in dad tuning, but it came
Let's see. Figure out logistics there. Yeah.
Half what camp's about, right? It's playing with other people. And playing songs you've never played with anybody before, or you don't know, right? Yeah, let's table. And G, right?
Okay, we'll go with that.
Hey, Neil, did your Claxton come with that electric pickup, or did you have to have?
Well, okay, so now in the interest of full
That's
disclosure,
Yeah,
this
that's
is my
kind of
second
new
one.
technology.
We're not getting a sound. Why not?
This is my second. And are we
Oh, no, that's not okay. I'll get more of that story in a second.
You get to that story while this is work.
All right. Oh, I forgot. You can talk while you're tuning with the fancy tuners now. Yeah. I'm so used to this arcade one I have that sits on my knee. So I got the first one in about 2001, I think. And again, it was this guitar that I just absolutely fell in love with and thought this was like the greatest thing I've ever heard. And then I did a show with a couple of different people. Lawrence Juber was one, and Kayla Beamer was the other. That both had fabulous setups of stuff. You know, I mean, their stuff sounded really good, and I thought, oh, I gotta get with the
Update.
21st century and play and get a pickup in here. And so I just couldn't do it with that guitar.
No.
Oh.
It was working earlier, right?
I'm not sure which one I was using.
Well, yeah, but hold it out.
Dude, the battery couldn't have died that fast, could it? No, it's something else. Huh. Well, should we fire up the microphone, or should I try one more time?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Should have changed the battery when I changed the strings, but that would have been like thoughtful. But, so anyway, I asked Ed if he would make me a second one and give it to me at the cheapest price he could. And he turned out to be happy to do it. And so then we put the pickup in with this. Actually, I didn't have it put it in. I had Keith Holland do it later, but it was one of those. So this actually is my travel Claxton. The other one never leaves the living room. Okay, so that's for this now. Right? Now it's just be hard to tell if we're balanced.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, you can probably turn that down a little bit.
Dave, are you wired up?
No, I can try to rewire those. I got from the app.
Yeah, that's the thing with guitars. I've got a bunch of guitars, just basically don't leave the house.
Yeah.
You know, and there's no reason really. I mean, I do take them places. If it's a great gig, it's a nice place. Like I just played a,
I'm wired.
what's that?
I think I'm wired now.
Good.
Well, let me see.
Oh, no, I'm not hearing you.
No, oh.
Okay.
Hang on, now I switched to wrong, I switched to wrong.
Turn it down.
Okay.
Which is why we need a recording class.
This is why you need a sound man.
This is funny.
And it's really tough to do two-handed things while you're holding it.
Yeah, I was careful.
I just played a really nice show. There we go. In ago, and I took some nice guitars to that. That's the appropriate, right? But,
Andy, did you check the framing on the camera, see if we're relatively balanced there?
but otherwise, you know, if you're playing a coffee shop or a bar,
Yeah.
you want guitars you
Little Neil.
regret taking out.
All right, okay. Okay, so, yeah, we have never tried this.
No, we've not tried
But
this.
we're assuming that we're gonna play it the way the record went, and so most of you, you'll all know it. And if you wanna sing along to drown us out, that would be, that's my best suggestion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because it's one of those, it starts with like 2 lines of instrumental and then the vocal starts, and then the song goes on. How many times do we do the sun part?
I think it goes.
They do 6 or 8, right?
Yeah, yeah, 6.
Okay.
It's 6 with 5 sung, I believe.
Yeah. Let's not count those, let's just kind of like decide after a few. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, count us in.
All right, here we go.
All right, thanks. I'll see you guys around, and I'll be here for lessons tomorrow. Looking forward to